Hey, Real Green Ninja here. The video you're about to watch is a supplement to the existing tutorials and help videos already available on the Real Green website. I do take a more casual approach because I'm presenting this information as I would if you called in, although I may have a little fun with it. This video is based upon the information I, as a Real Green technician, would provide using my experience on the help desk. This video was created on my own time to assist with areas of the software that may be waiting for an official help video or tutorial. At the beginning of the training video, I will have the version of the Service Assistant the video was made with. I will also try to be as accurate as possible, but be aware, as Service Assistant updates are released, things may change. I'm using the name Real Green Ninja as not to stand out from the other amazing technicians that I work with. I hope the information in this video helps you, so grab a cup of coffee and I hope you learn something new. Hey, Real Green Ninja here. I hope you have a big cup of coffee because this is going to be a long one. Today we're going to talk about the quick estimate entry method, or what we like to call the lightning bolt. This is for estimates. Now, when we talk about estimates at Real Green, a lot of times we're actually more referring to fact-gathering worksheets, something where you're going to take it out to the property, gather some information, bring it back to the office, throw that information into the system, and then generate a proposal or a pre-patter, and then give someone something with pricing on it. So, let's begin. First thing we're going to do is we're going to need to actually create an estimate form. Now, you can do this in Microsoft Windows or Microsoft Word, but if you're in the hosted environment and you don't have Microsoft Word, you can create it in OpenOffice. But if you create it in OpenOffice, you will need to save it as a Word doc file. That's DOC, not the DOCX. So again, in OpenOffice, you put your format, you do all the layout, and then you do save as .doc. I believe it's the Windows or the Word 97 one or whatever. Now, I did create one. I tried to be a little humorous and stuff, so let me go ahead and find it. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Data, and then I'm going to go to Company Parameters and Estimate Forms. This is where we can actually put the form into the system. We do have a couple different formats that are available, and you'll see in mine I have like Estimate Form 1, 2, 3. These are kind of like transparencies. They lay over top of this document that you've created. So unfortunately, there's going to be some trial and error here because you can design the document around the fields of the information that's going to be printed on it. Again, when we get to the point of talking about estimate printing, I will show you what the different formats do look like. Now, the one I'm using is I'm going to use Estimate Form 1. So I take a note of what the name of this FRX file. Again, this is like the transparency of that customer's information that's going to be laid over top of the document you create. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new one, and I'm going to put in that Est Form 1. Okay, now once I have that in there, I'm going to give it a name. And then I'm going to call this the Real Green Ninja, or RGN Estimate Example. Okay, now I'm going to open up my Microsoft Word document, and there I am. I did leave some space here because I know this is where the customer's information is. Again, I'll show you how to preview the different formats that are available so you can kind of get an idea of how much space you're going to need to leave. Now, I did try to be a little humorous, number of trees to hide in, but I got a little bit more serious down here. And again, we'll talk about printing 2 copies and actually leaving a copy of the estimate with the customer. But what you're going to do is, again, you're going to open it in Microsoft Word, or if you're hosted and you saved it as a Word doc, you're going to open up in the Microsoft Word viewer. Once it's opened up, either the Microsoft Word or the viewer, you're going to do Control A, which is select all. You're going to grab all this information, Control C for copy, and it's going to copy to your computer's clipboard. You're going to come over here to Real Green, and you're going to click with your left mouse button somewhere in this box. You're going to go Edit, Paste Special, and you're going to choose Picture Meta File. When you hit OK, it's going to throw that information in there for you. Once you have that information in, you're going to hit the Save button. Now, if you hit the Save button and all of a sudden it disappears, that means there might be a picture in that document that's a little bit too large for the software to store. So in that case, all you need to do is go to your original picture and resize it in something like Microsoft Paint, like this, and then just do something like a resize, change the size, maybe shrink it down a little bit, maybe start with 50%, and then put it back into your document, and then try pasting it in there. Again, unfortunately with the estimate forms, there is some trial and error involved. All right, so let's go ahead and let's actually start talking about, oh no, we don't want to save it for the clipboard. There we go. Okay, so now we have this form in there. Again, you can have as many as your forms tied to estimate form 1.frx. I can have 5, 6 of them, maybe one for fertilization, my lawn care program, maybe one for aeration, grub control, maybe I have one for my tree and shrub, or you maybe have a generic form which has all the different services and stuff that you want to do the estimate form. Okay, so Now that you have the form in there, we can use it for when we plan to print estimates. But we have to get some estimates in the system to begin with. You can have an active customer with an estimate service. Again, estimate service or a no stat service, this would be like a 0 status because you haven't done anything with them yet. Or you can hit this little lightning bolt, which is going to take you into the quick estimate entry screen. Now, one thing that's really cool about the screen, you really don't need a lot of information. I can literally put just a zip code in, and that can actually create an account number, all right? Now, the one thing is you have to be aware of, though, is you do have to tie it to something, though. So, again, I'm going to just do it as a long care job. We can put in who's going to go out and do the estimate, if they were referred to by a customer, if you want to give a source. You can also put in requested by. You can throw in a route if you want to route out these estimates, schedule date, and so on and so forth. Now, I am going to give it a source here real quick. Let's just go ahead and call it Dad. Why? Because I'm a dad, and I got a daughter and all that stuff, so I put Dad in there because I like it. Okay, so again, I can hit save, and now we've literally created a customer with just the city, the state, and the zip, and we got that just by putting the zip code again, and it's tied to Lawn Care Program. So if I go to the customer screen, 31799, you'll see, again, I create a customer with very, very little information in there. But obviously, sometimes it's kind of hard because, you might want to call them or whatever. So let's go ahead and actually throw some customers in there. So I'm going to hit new up here, and now I can add a new one. So let's go ahead. Let's see who we're going to do. Let's do, I don't know, Steven Tyler. Okay, and let's say he lives on 130 South Castell. Oops. And then that's in Rochester, Michigan. By the way, my grandparents used to live in Rochester, and they owned a house there, and a lot of good memories, So that's why I like to use South Castell and the Rochester zip code and stuff. Okay, so you'll see this already has a lawn care program in there. So if you have a stack of customers or a list of customers, you can just keep throwing them in, and keep giving them that lawn care program. Let's go ahead and add another one. Let's I don't know, maybe let's do Tom Hamilton. I don't know. That's just gonna pull that name out of the air. Hamilton, there we go. And let's say he lives at 132. He's a next door neighbor, and that's South Castell. Nope. Fat finger that. Okay, and again, we're going to put in zip code 48390. So again, you can see I'm quickly adding these customers. Hit save. Now we have a customer count. Okay. Let me throw one more in there because again, I want to show you some of the different situations you might run into as far as what statuses you might do. Let's do Joey Kramer. All right, and again, maybe he lives across the street. He's actually 129 South Castell. By the way, I really don't know if these are real addresses or not. I'm just throwing addresses in there that's close to where my grandparents used to live. 48307. Go in there. Again, we hit save. Yeah, let's go ahead and add another one. I don't know. Let's say, I don't know, Joe Perry. Let's see here. And then, again, let's say we don't have an address for him. Let's say we just know what city he's in. Because, again, maybe we don't know the addresses in there. 307, hit enter. And save, and I don't know, maybe just like one more. Brad Whitford. I don't know where I'm getting these names from. Okay. Oops. Almost made a mistake there. I'm going to do Control X, Control V, throw it over there. Brad Whitford. And again, let's say for this person, we just have a phone number. I don't know, let's say 555-555-5555. He lives in California and Hollywood or something like that, because that's where all the phone numbers. But of course, I'm going to give it my Rochester zip code, and again, you'll see all this in there. So now we've added those 5 customers, which I just realized happen to be the members of Aerosmith, but hey, I don't know where my mind is today. But as I was saying is, once you have those customers in the system, now if we go to one of those customer screens, okay, and I can just hit the back button here, you'll see there's that customer account, and again, you'll see they're in a 0 status, as well as their service or program is also in that 0 status on all these customers. Again, what's really cool about quick estimate entry, you don't have to put a lot of information, but you do have to have a service or program that you're going to be running the estimate for. Also, you'll notice there was nowhere to put in size information because, again, we haven't gone out to the property to actually do any measurements yet. Okay, now, when you're ready to pull your estimates, what you're going to do is you're going to hit this estimate button here. Okay, now, I love this software. It's amazing what it can do. but there's a lot of drop downs and check boxes and stuff like that. So again, anytime I go into a screen that I'm not quite sure what's been ran last time, I like to click on reports and clear current report criteria. And what that does is it resets this screen to its default settings. All right. Like pulling invoices or pulling work, I'm going to have criteria I'm going to select. I'm going to select what services or programs I want. Again, I do have these all set to the lawn care program, but maybe you're doing quote or estimates for many of them, or a couple different programs or services. But you would be having to use the same estimate form. We're going to do our routes. You can do individual counts. You can do territories, map codes, zip codes. Again, however you want to do it, to set your criteria. Now, once you have all that information in there, you're going to hit Get Estimates. And you'll see there are those people that I added. Why? Because they have that zero status program on their customer screen. Now, when I want to select what form, I'm going to click this drop down here, and I'm going to select that one that I created. So where's my Real Green Ninja one? It's probably towards the bottom because it's not there. It is off in alphabetical order. We're going to do a preview here, and this is what this particular estimate form is going to look like for these customers. You'll see it's going to throw the customer information up in here. Here's my picture, and it's a lot of it is what you see is what you get. Now, the cells didn't come over, so again, I might not like that. I might turn around and go through and tweak it a little bit and come back in here and copy and paste. So I always tell people, make sure to do previews first to make sure everything looks good before you actually start using it for people and stuff like that. Now, again, it's going to throw the customer information in there. As far as the estimate forms, if you want to leave a copy with your customer, instead of just having the information that you gather, you might also have a price chart or price thing down here where you can hand write the prices in. Again, remember, we have not actually gone to the person's property yet. Now, when you go to print them out, like I said, there are a couple different formats. So let's take a look at the S Form 1 again. But you'll see, again, it's just a straight S Form 1. It looks just like the same for the customer name and address information. And again, you'll see it's only going to show the information that we entered in the system. Now, S Form 2, we do a preview here. You'll see the format's a little bit different. Okay? If we go to S Form 3, you'll see the format's a little bit different. So again, you can design your form around these fields. You might actually have the word date up here. But again, it's going to be some trial and error because you got to make sure that everything lines up. So like I said, you're going to put your information in. Like this one actually has the phone number down there. We do estimate form 4, do a preview. Again, now the information is different as well. If you did have size information, it's going to show the size information. Again, you can add a zero status job to an active customer so you can go out and do an estimate. They don't have to be in that zero. The customer themselves do not have to be in that zero status. Now, once you've actually created your form and everything looks good, and again, you might have different criteria. You say, you know what, I want to do it based upon particular sources, or I want to do it based on particular, again, like referral options and stuff. You're set up referral systems. So again, you can really fine tune this stuff. Again, I'm just showing you the basics just to get you going. So, like I said before, is when you go and you pull your estimates, then you're going to print them out. Now, I'm not going to waste any of my paper. And because I don't want to waste any of my paper, I'm going to do what's called a fake print. This is where I'm going to print it out to a file and save it on my computer as opposed to actually printing them out. Obviously, you would print them out. Now, as far as printing them out, if you have Mapping Assistant, you can actually route them, just like you would with invoices by clicking on the little globe here. It's going to take you into MapPoint. Now, I don't have MapPoint installed right now because I don't have a copy of it yet. But again, you can put it in the map point. You can go ahead and route it out. You can shuffle them in the order, so that way your salesperson or whatever that's going door to door or walking around, or even your technician or whatever, they're able to hit them in the order, the most efficient route. You could also generate what's called a driver's report, and that's just going to list the services or the list of customers you're going to hit. And again, you have these barcodes which you can hit on the measurement entry screen where it asks you for the customer number. So again, there are different things. I always tell people do previews, and then, because previews don't hurt anything, and then once everything looks good, then print it out. So like I said, I'm going to print it out to an XPS document. Again, this is kind of like doing a junk or fake print. It's going to ask me where I want to save this file, and I'm just going to go ahead and, let's see here, where am I going to save it here? I guess I'll save it to my desktop. Oh, it's already on my desktop. Huh. And I'm just going to call it junk. Why? Well, because I'm not going to keep it. I'm going to delete it after I'm done with this video here. It's going to print. Normally you would print out to your printer. It's going to print out those estimate forms. Now, when we look at or when we print out those forms, it's going to ask us who is going to go out there and do the estimates. And this is where we can select, okay, we want, let's say we're going to do it as tech. Like, again, I'm not too worried about the details on this. And also what date you plan to have them go out there. And the reason that's important is because you can actually, let's say your technician or whatever, or your salesperson doesn't quite get around to everything, and they have some left over. Once you go through and put in the ones that they did collect, you can use the route loose work option here and look for estimates that are in that printed status and assigned to a particular person. So again, you can throw them onto this list and then route them out and then kind of clean up the estimates that haven't been performed yet. Again, I'm not worried about that right now. I'm just worried about showing you the basics on the estimate process, the estimate forms here. All right, now once you've printed them out, when we go to the customer screen and we take a look at one of those customers, you'll now see they're in an estimate printed status on the customer, as well as a status 1, which is the estimate printed on the job. Again, you've printed the estimate. We now have an estimate printed date. Again, it's going to throw in the information that you put in. The person's going to go out. They're going to gather that information, and then they're going to bring it back to the office. Once they bring it back to the office, then what you're going to do is you're going to use the lightning bolt to do the quick measurement reject entry into the system. Okay, so again, I'm going to have to cheat a little bit because I don't have the printout and also don't have a barcode scanner. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my junk file here. Oh, that's not the one. Oh no, that is the one. Is it? Yes, it is. Okay, I'm going to pull up my junk file so I can grab those customer numbers for the quick estimate entry. So let's go ahead and pop back up here. So again, the person's come back to the office, they gather that information, they're going to hit this little lightning bolt. Now, as I said before, if you want to, you can leave a second copy. All you would do is just print 2 copies of the estimate for each customer. You fill out the information, put the pricing in there, and then leave one at that customer's address. So when the person comes back here, you're going to go to Measurement Reject Sale, and you're going to hit New because you're doing a new measurement. Now, again, what's my customer number? It's 31801. So I'm going to type in the customer number, 31801, and I'm going to hit Enter, and you'll see it's going to pull that customer's information. We did this for a lawn care program, and now you'll see it has an area to put in size. All right. Now, if you have your system set up for price charts, as soon as you put in the size, let's say it's 5.5 thousand square feet, you'll see it actually pops up saying the round price is $33.10. The total price for those programs is going to be $165.50. You can also put in who requested it. So let's say Tom Hamilton didn't request it. Maybe it was son, maybe it was his daughter, maybe it was his mother or father, or whatever. You can put it if it was requested by someone else. Also, you can put it if it was referred by a different customer. And again, you can set a route for it. So let's go ahead and give it the route 1 here. All right. Now, on the screen, you have to decide, do we want to put it into gave estimate status, gave estimate called the customer status, gave estimate not sold status, or do we want to make it one of the active statuses? Now, again, this is my test data. This is data I've been playing around with. I've done stuff. Your statuses may be different. Most of the time, people with status 8 have it as always active. Again, I set mine as paid deposit for some, testing or whatever I did. Or maybe I was just messing around. But again, you're going to put in that information. Now, I actually turned on a setting or somewhere where it actually let me put in condition codes and stuff. I can't remember exactly what setting that was. It's one of those things where if you wanted it there, you'd have to call us up and say, hey, how do I get that in there? And then we'd have to do research to figure out how the heck to turn that on. And again, it was one of those things where I had a customer, they had, one person had it, this person did, and they wanted to know how to get it, and I just somehow figured out how to get it in there for them. All right, so again, you're going to put in the information. Now, maybe you got a phone number for this person because, maybe you actually talked to them, or maybe you looked it up. You can also give them customer flags. Again, there's quite a few different, or quite a bit more information you can start putting into the system here. Now, once you have it all in here, and let's say we want to put it in gave estimate status, we can hit save. And now, if we go to that customer screen, 310, oh, what was that one? 31801. I was close. 31801. We'll see now he went into estimate or gave estimate status 2. The job is also in status 2. Again, it's the gave estimate status. So you'll see as you go along, it's changing the status of these customers as you do things. Now, again, some people don't use this quick estimate entry. They don't use this process, and they might have their estimate, especially like in New York, they have to actually get written confirmation from their customers. They might have status of number 3 being pending confirmation, and then when the customer sends in confirmation, they'll put it in active status. So again, if you do change those, you may not want to actually use this process. But like I said, I'm just showing you the process for today. Now let's go ahead and do the next number, which should be one number higher, 31802. Okay, 31802. Oops, didn't like that, did it? Nope. Okay, let's try. Now, again, I love this software, but sometimes it can be a little bit finicky. Okay, so again, we put the customer in. We're going to put in the size. Now, maybe you actually talk to this customer, or maybe the salesperson went out there, they talked to him, and the customer says, you know what, I appreciate the offer, but we're not really interested. Then we could tell it to gave estimate not sold. When you hit gave estimate not sold, what it's going to do is it's actually going to put in a reject date and a reject reason. And you may ask yourself, well, why do you want to put this information in here? Well, the reason why you want to put it in there is because maybe they might not want it this year, but who knows? Maybe they'll win the lottery and decide to stay in their own house. Or maybe they get a new job, and that way you can actually market to them next season when you do your prepay letters, and you can say, you know what, I want to include the gave estimate not sold jobs and stuff like that. So again, we're going to hit save. And we go to the customer account. Okay, and again, you'll show a gave estimate 4, not sold. The job itself is also in 4. Again, gave estimate not sold. But now we have a reject date and a reject reason on the program or service itself. Okay, now let's say you talk to the customer either at the time or maybe even when you come back to the office and you send them a prepay letter or a proposal or something like that, and they decide, you know what, we want this service. Again, what you can do is you can type in the account number. Okay, and then you can put in that it's an active status, or you can even status date depending on what statuses you use. And now again, you'll see it's going to ask you for a size. Okay, it's a big property, a lot of money, excellent money. And again, you can put in there, but now it's going to ask you who the sold person is. So let's go ahead and put Sam in there, hit save, and now when we go to that customer number, you'll see now the customer is in active status, and because they're in active status, you'd actually be able to start pulling work for this person for this program. Okay, now you notice as time went on, those numbers changed as we selected them accordingly on that screen. But keep in mind, you can have active customers that have estimate services. So let's actually bump back here, and let's pretend that this customer actually was an active customer. Maybe you had gone out and done a grub control or an aeration for them. In fact, let's go ahead and add, I'm going to try to geocode the address. Unfortunately, I don't have mapping, so I don't know if it's going to do it. Hey, look, my antivirus is working. I'm just going to block it for right now. Okay, so again, this is all on the fly, no script. I maybe do 1 or 2 retakes. All right. So again, there's a customer, and like I said, maybe you actually did something for them, or maybe they have something active. They want to program one special. There we go. A special job. And again, I'm just going to give them grub control or something. Actually, make it a correlation. Again, and because we hadn't put any measurements or anything, you'll notice again that I had to actually add that. And I'm going to hit my required fields. Again, that's what I like. All the required fields highlight yellow to make it easier. Unfortunately, the required fields on the estimate entry screen won't highlight. If there is a required field because you set up in parameters or something for the estimate entry, it unfortunately does not highlight, but it will pop up the screen telling you what field is required. Okay, so again, the customer size not filled in. I'm going to throw that customer size onto that customer screen, and there it is now. All right, so again, active customer with an active job, but we gave them an estimate service or program. Now, when we go to do the quick estimate entry, okay, 804, I believe. Was that him? Hold on, let me double check here. Yep, 804, excellent. Now, let's say this person rejected the estimate. So again, we can put in the size and stuff like that, because there wasn't a size on the estimate itself. Put in the information, but he rejected it. So again, we're going to put the reject date in, we're going to put the reject reason in, maybe they're doing a home renovation or whatever. We hit save. Now, even though we set this to rejected, if we go back to the customer, they are still in that active status. Why? Because they were in active status to begin with. The numbers won't roll back. Okay, they'll only go up as you go and put in services and stuff. So if we come over to one of these statuses here, like the status 4, gave them another 0 status for 2016 and printed it out, it's not going to pull them back to printed. It's actually going to leave them the gave estimate not sold. Again, things change. It's possible they may change that. This is the way I understand the way the software works. So to recap, when you want to set up an estimate customer, you're going to hit the lightning bolt. You're going to put in the hit new. You're going to put in the customer information. Once you hit save, it will create a new customer account. Now, on an existing customer account that's an active status, or on the new customer that you just created, if you have a service that's in 0 status, then you can print out your estimates. Okay? Again, you're going to set your criteria, hit get estimates. Right now, nothing shows up because I already printed all mine out. Once you all do all that, then you can go to measurement reject sale. Once you got the information, throw that information in the system, set them to the accordingly to what status they're going to be, hit save, and again, the customer will update. So this is one of the longest videos I've done. I hope I didn't bore you. I know I'm getting a little out of breath because I've been talking and talking and talking. I know my daughter rolls her eyes when I talk to her for 10 minutes, so I couldn't imagine sitting there listening to me for almost half an hour. But again, I hope this answers most of your questions. As always, if you go into the lightning, or if you go into a screen, hit the little blue circle with a question mark, it will open up the help file for that particular window. At least I hope it does for this one. Oh, there we go. And again, you may want to go through the help file. Now, sometimes these little screenshots might be a little out of date. Things may change and so on and so forth. Also, you can add marketing customers. Marketing is a blue or teal color, and they're going to be a letter M instead of a number. But again, you can go through the help file, and it will probably give you a little bit more information and detail than what I gave you, as well as there are help videos out there. And again, this is not a replacement for the official Real Green video. This is just a supplement, something a little bit more casual. Hopefully, the pacing isn't too quick, and hopefully it makes it so you can actually use that part of the software. As always, you have yourself a wonderful day. In the immortal words of Homer Simpson, "Don't!" Because, oops, I goofed. I did make a comment in the prior video, and I really don't want to re-record 25 minutes of video again. So I'm going to add this as an addendum to the video originally. I did goof. I had said in the original video that if you do have a job that's in like an estimate 4 status, and the customer's in estimate 4 status, if you add an estimate service for 2016, and you go and you put it in printed, I did discover, put it in the gave customer whatever, I did discover that, yes, it will change an estimate status customer to whatever status of the service it was. So again, I do apologize. The active statuses won't change though. I do know, I did test that to make sure. So just again to show you what I'm talking about, let's go ahead and pull up the customer and 31801. Okay, so again, this customer right here, they're currently in a gave estimate not sold status. If I were to go through, hit the lightning bolt, well, I'm sorry, not the lightning bolt, but if I were to go through and give them another special job or something, and again, we're going to give them correlation for right now. No, I'm going to try to anyways. I'll put that information in here. Again, we'll see it says a 0 status. Again, I'm going to hit my required field because it required as a source. And then, do you want to match a job? No, we're not going to match a job. So again, pretend this will be like in 2016 as opposed to 2015. So again, they have the 4 status, they have the 0 status. Now, if I go into that quick status entry and go to measurement reject sale, I'm going to hit new, 31801, and then I'm going to go ahead and do that core aeration one right there. And then again, if I go ahead and put it into like a gave estimate status, or if I print it or something like that, when I hit save, if I go back to the customer, you'll see that the customer did in fact, because they were in estimate yellow status, it did in fact roll back. So again, I do apologize. I'm sorry about that. I just don't want to redo a 25-minute video. So hopefully this clears it up, makes more sense. Again, this is also why I tell people, have test customers, have people to play around with, try different things. Again, this is all off the cuff. I do apologize, but like I said, the active status, the green ones do not roll back.